Hello, welcome back to Chaotic Corp Season 4. I'm your host, Jordan.
And I am your co-host Apollo. We have a returning guest from this whole season so far, and a little bit of last season, Mr. Scott.
What's going on, people of the internet? This is a crazy episode.
Crazy episode. Along with this crazy episode, we have another guest from last episode, um, Chris.
Hey, it's me.
There he is. Oh man, this episode
Yep.
was so good. It was so crazy, filled with excitement, a lot of fear, a lot of emotions in this whole
And we're going to
episode.
talk about a lot of spoilers.
Talk about a lot of
lots
spoilers.
and lots of spoilers.
Lots of
Yeah.
Spoilers everywhere.
From here on out,
Obviously.
there's a spoiler warning. The idea of the show is for you to watch the show or the episode, and then listen to this podcast. But there's also some people who actually like spoilers. So if that's you, I don't understand you.
Those
I'm not
people
going to
are
judge you
insane.
though. But
Okay.
yeah, if that's you, you can stick around. Yeah. So this is the Chaos Podcast. Yeah.
Welcome back. Episode 4 of Loki.
So we start off. They're in the world ending. I can't remember.
No, that was a
What?
recap.
Momentous one.
Yeah, but they were still there by the beginning of the episode. They were.
Yeah,
what was it?
they were still on
Yeah.
this one, and
Lamentus. Yeah,
everything.
and then
You were right.
TVA was trying to find them, and then they did something which is like, I don't know, have feelings for each other that
It
sparked
was weird.
a Nexus event. But why?
I feel like we're
Why
gonna
would that
figure
spark a
out.
Nexus
I
event?
wonder if it was like.
I feel like it's
Oh.
what Mobius said about, like, him basically loving the variant is like something that created pure chaos.
It was
that
two
sparked that
Lokis.
next-
I think it was two
Yeah.
Lokis falling in love with each other was what caused the chaos. I don't know because Loki
Yeah, but
tried to
the-
be
Like
the-
a
chaos.
time paradox.
It's really weird because like even if they I don't know had feelings for each other at that point, that's still in that timeline. That whole planet was about to be destroyed.
Right.
And as and the reason why they couldn't find them was because they were at an apocalypse setting, so that nothing what they would have done, no matter who they even murdered, they could have slaughtered a bunch of people, and it still wouldn't have
Wouldn't
sparked
matter.
a Nexus event. But the moment that they were like, "Oh, I
Let's
guess
start
we're
making
falling
out.
in love,"
Well,
that's the thing that sparks the Nexus event. It doesn't make sense to me. So there must have been something more
it
to
was,
that.
They'll probably explain it to us, but I mean, I really don't have a thought process as to why it would do that. But all I can
I'd
really
have
say
to
is,
I'd have to look at it. I have to like rewatch that little thing. But there's something he said that it was like that would spark pure chaos about something kind of to the tune of like no matter what.
he said it would break reality, and then he was like, "It's
Yes.
breaking my reality."
Yeah, that it would break reality.
I guess.
So
if you
that
hold-
has something to do with it. I don't know.
It's weird, like
Yes,
hold
but
a
at the same
Kanye or
time,
something.
if it's like that, it's more in the sense of like the same person existing at the exact same time. But
Yeah,
I don't know because I feel like even existing would have caused that instead of like having feelings for your doppelganger.
well, no, but because then it's just existing when you're not supposed to. That's just Sylvie's whole existence.
It's a really weird.
Well,
thought
yeah,
process.
but it's like in a whole different like context. Like, oh,
Right.
there's
You know
like
what?
two of the same being existing.
I just thought of something.
Yeah.
I just thought of something.
But-
When
Go ahead,
Here.
Jordan, I'll
when
say after.
Sylvie like touched his arm, that's when you saw the branch starting to like sprout, and when they were able to track them. If you remember, in the very first scene of the episode, we see Asgard, and then we see a young Sylvie, just playing, and then out of nowhere the TVA comes, and obviously they give their spiel. You're under arrest for obstruction of the timeline. Literally, the kid did nothing. Just playing with her freaking toys in the Asgardian palace, right? Literally just existing. She could have been like maybe 5, maybe 8 at that time, but she did something. Maybe just her touching him did something. I don't know if it was them necessarily, like, I guess you could say, quote unquote, falling in love, but we don't even know if that's exactly what happened. I feel like that's what happened, but I feel like to cause some kind of Nexus event, she like touched him, and that's what caused it. Because if you remember that guard, in the very beginning that grabs Sylvie escapes, and then years later, she was promoted, obviously, and all that, and then they finally go up to the elevator, and then they get captured, and Sylvie's like, what was my Nexus event? It must have been so important that you had to just take me away from my life and destroy my reality. And she said, I don't remember. So maybe it was something very important. Maybe it just has something to do with Sylvie. I don't know.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, the interesting thing is, it's not about touch, which I thought was interesting, because if they were touching each other and it was like, oh, that sparked a Nexus event, like that two variants can't like cross paths with each other. The stem would have started much earlier when they were fighting, but the fact that they started when they started to have feelings for each other, that's what created the Nexus event. And I think if they went further, it might just cause time paradoxes and even more and more variants in the timeline, like a tree just like exploding with branches all over the place and essentially breaking the entire timeline. The Nexus, they capture him. Then Loki is being interrogated by Mobius. And he's like, oh yeah, she died, and he's like actually like heartbroken about it. He actually cares about her.
They were talking about the guard,
yes,
C20.
Yes.
C20.
Yes.
For those of you who don't remember, C20 was the girl that Sylvie brainwashed in I want to say the second episode of the Medieval Fair.
It was the second episode, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
in the at the
In the second
Rocksmart
episode,
or
and
whatever.
we saw her. I think towards the end of the second episode, she was in the Walmart, futuristic
Rocksmart or
Walmart.
whatever.
Yeah, the future Walmart.
Futuristic Walmart in 2050, I think, in Alabama, I think is when it was. But anyway,
Yes.
yeah. So continue, Scott.
Yeah. So the interest, and then.
You okay?
My mouth. I'm good.
Alright.
Just swallowed some air wrong way. Anyways,
Nice.
so what happened was, after they interrogates her, he gets thrown in what is called a time cell. And essentially, it is where you get to relive your worst or most painful memory. For Loki, that was when he cut off, I believe, his sister's hair,
No,
and then
it
she
was-
goes
Oh,
over and
Sif. It's just Lady
Sif's
Sif.
hair, and she like beats him up, and then like the pattern just continues. And
Which-
it's pretty funny.
I would think, really, if, like you said, if that was like his worst or most painful memory, I really wouldn't think it would be that.
It
Yeah.
might not be
But
that, but
I feel like that was something that it was chosen because of like the dialogue of you don't deserve, like, you deserve to be alone, you will always be alone. That kind of
Yeah.
line at the end, I feel like it was chosen to just for him to hear that over and over and over.
Oh, okay.
it could be
to-
that.
Like Mobius said, soften him up, break him for interrogation.
It could be
Oh,
that.
I like
It
that.
could be that, or it could be your most painful moment, because if you remember, this is 2012 Loki. He hasn't experienced.
That's
He hasn't
true.
experienced anything that we saw in the first episode on the holo projector. So
That's fair, yeah.
we see him getting interrogated, and he keeps getting literally kicked in the balls like 20 different times. I thought it was really nice to see Lady Sif. I don't know what that actor's been up to, but in all honesty, we haven't seen that actor or character since I think maybe since Thor: The Dark World, maybe in Thor Ragnarok, but I'm not quite entirely sure
Wasn't-
about that.
No, she was. No, she died in Ragnarok, right?
Yeah, she most likely would have, but I'm just saying,
No,
I don't remember
wait.
seeing her actually in Thor Ragnarok. I remember.
No, I
seeing
think
her-
she died. She died before. No, she died. Didn't she die in first Thor?
No,
No, I
she was in
think
the
I
second
think she
one.
died in the Dark World.
She wasn't. No, I don't think she even died in the Dark World. I think she was just there, but we never saw her after that.
Oh.
Yeah,
after the
because-
events-
This is a great podcast. We're so informed.
Oh,
We don't-
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I remember. I'm trying not to punch Chris in the nuts and tell him that he's wrong. Okay, I'm just letting him. You know.
Ragnarok. It was Ragnarok.
You just did research.
It had to be Ragnarok.
I just did, yeah. Because
Okay, you want to tell me? You want to tell me?
We're literally Hela killed all of them.
I don't remember seeing her when
Remember
she
how
Hela.
they killed?
I remember when okay, don't spoil too much. But I remember in the first
Yeah.
scene, not the first scene, but where they all meet Hela. And Hela does that thing. I don't remember seeing her at that spot. I remember seeing other people, but not her.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could be
Honestly,
wrong. I
it's
could be
it's been a
wrong.
while since I've watched any of the Thor movies. Honestly, I can't
I
remember.
just watched them like not even a month ago.
Just watched, man, but can't remember.
Yeah, welcome to Chaotic Corp. Anyways, so I just thought it was kind of cool to see that
Yeah.
character and all. So after all that, then we have, Mobius is walking around after he got done having a little chit chat with what's that girl's name?
Well,
What was
we
that
don't
girl's
know,
name?
but hold on. There was a key line before he went back into his time prison. He says, "You're all variants," or something like that.
Yeah.
And
He
it's
said
like-
the TVA is lying
and
to
it's-
you.
And it's the TVA is lying to, and it's starting to stir in his head. He's starting to think the gears are turning, and then he goes up and talks to like the head TVA agent. I don't know her name.
Oh, no.
Like she was like the judge. or
Mona.
something.
Okay.
Ravonna, yeah,
Ravonna.
that was her
Oh.
name.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I have other information about Sif.
Go
on.
ahead.
Okay,
back to
so according, I'm sorry, I was doing some research.
No,
According to
that's
the
good.
screen-
Research, man.
That's good. That's good.
According to ScreenRant.com, Sif never really appeared in Thor Ragnarok,
That's what
though
I
she was
thought.
among
I
the casualties.
Thought so.
Right.
She was among the casualties of Thanos' snap, but she did
Oh.
come back because of the blip and all that, because they reversed it. And it's said that Sif's whereabouts can finally be revealed in Thor: Love and Thunder if
That
the
makes
act-
sense.
Okay.
if the actress reprises her role. So that's speculation.
Okay,
Actually.
that's nice. Thank you so much for that, Tristan. That's very
Yeah.
very informative. I could have sworn that she wasn't in Thor Ragnarok. If it's
Yeah,
one
she-
thing
yeah,
that
she
I
wasn't.
remember, it's my Marvel movies, and that's like bad to say because I should be remembering crap about work, but I don't. Anyways, so like Scott said, it's stirring in his mind that maybe what Loki said was true because they were friends. They really kind of had a relationship in episode 2 until he ran after Sylvie, and not thinking Mobius is like, oh, he backstabbed me. When
Mhm.
Loki at that time was just trying to be like, when he was actually trying to stop her, but being as he's Loki, you gotta be a little bit on the up and up and not have your back turned. But so then Mobius grabs him out of the time chamber and starts talking to him, and he's asking about the Nexus event. They all want to know about the Nexus event. We get him asking about the Lamentus, I guess, Nexus event is what you would want to call it.
Yeah.
And Loki doesn't know anything about that because he doesn't know what they did. He doesn't know
Mhm.
anything about that. If he was still at the TVA, he would have seen on the big screen that a giant branch was literally going at like what seemed like a 90-degree angle. Or is that right? No.
Yeah, yeah.
It was-
much-
Yeah, it was basically it was going like straight up.
Like, instead of like
thick
a
branch,
instead of like
too.
a 50-degree angle, it was going straight up pretty much.
Going straight up like I guess like a rocket.
Yeah, and
It was
everyone
also
was,
very thick too. It wasn't like a
was
thin
thick.
little one. It was very thick.
was
so-
a thick
Why did you
branch.
say it like that, Scott?
It was
Oh.
a thick branch, Scott.
I like
we
how
get
like
it.
my time branch is thick.
That's nasty.
Oh, Scott.
Oh,
It's supposed to be a family-friendly show.
we are
No,
not.
it's not.
Tristan, this is not a family-friendly podcast. Let me tell you,
We try.
we don't try actually. Scott.
No, we don't.
Scott thinks we try, but we really don't behind the scenes. So then he gets to asking about Sylvie and where she is, and he just straight up says she's been pruned. Or no, I'm sorry. Before that, you know, he's Mobius is getting tired of Loki walking around in circles during this interview. So Mobius gets a little teed off, and he's like, "All right, back in the cell you go." And then Loki's like, "Wait, I'm not going back in there." So he's like thinking of a way. He's conjuring up something in his head like he normally does. And he's good at it too. And you know, he said he's had this plan. Him and her have had this plan for years, I think is what he said.
Long time.
Yeah, a long time. Long time. And then, you know, he's like, she's just a pawn, doesn't really matter. And then he's like, okay, well, good, because she's been pruned, and you can see it in his face. He's like, I can't believe that.
Oh.
But he does believe that because she's so dangerous. You know, he automatically knows that they wouldn't take a second look at her without, you know, taking precautions, and that precaution was to end her because she's that dangerous. And he's like, I can't believe that. But, you know, and he does start. It looks like he starts to like tear up a little bit, and then Mobius is like, I got you in a lie this time. And you know, the tables have literally turned. Usually it's Loki the one that's lying and getting everyone, and now Mobius just did to him. So it was kind of funny to see him get a little taste of his medicine. Sad, but you know, then he literally comes out and he says, "You are all variants," like Scott said earlier. Before he went into the portal or into the time cell, he literally says that he's like, "You are all variants. You used to have past lives." And then I can't remember what happened after he said that. Does anyone else remember what happened?
So after he says that, I think he gets thrown back in his time cell, and he's just kind of standing there. And essentially, Mobius, he's like, "All right, case closed. I'm done." He goes up and sees Ramona, whatever her name is, Ravona. Chris, what's her name again?
Ravona.
Ravona. He
The
goes
V.
and sees Ravona, and they're like, "Hey, you just completed a case. Congratulations. Here's a drink." And then as she turns to put away a trophy, he takes her time DS. And,
Time DS. I like that.
And so he sneaks off with it into the library, and he looks up what happened to C20 because he knows she died. And from what he was told, she was like a bumbling idiot. Like she had been like lobotomized. She didn't know. She couldn't speak. She couldn't walk. She couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
essentially like drooling from the mouth.
She had said that Sylvia's powers, basically taking memories from, if you remember from the previous episode, taking memories from. They thought that she was creating memories and just like lying to people, but Ravona knew that wasn't the case. Obviously, Ravona knew the truth, and I don't know how she knows the truth, but
I think she's so high up that she has to.
She probably has clearance.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. But yeah, and then, but before all that, you see the guard actually right outside of Loki's holding cell, and she starts freaking out because she realizes she either heard the entire conversation or she said when first.
Well, she said when she brought Sylvie. Are you talking about B15?
I'm talking about B15. First, you know, she goes into the room and gets Sylvie, and she's like, "I need to talk to you." And where they go to futuristic Walmart in 2050. So
yeah.
That's when
she
starts.
She said, B15 said there, she was like, "What you showed me before, can you show me again," or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's very obvious that somehow, I guess, Sylvie got her hands on B15 while during an interrogation. And put that little seed in there.
You know what it was? No. It was episode 3 or 2 when we finally saw Sylvie. She enchanted, I guess, somehow got inside of B15.
Oh, that's
yeah,
that's right.
And all that.
So
that's right. Yeah, she went into B15's body. That's right. I forgot that.
Somehow she showed B15 her memories from back
when
she was either on Earth or maybe another planet. I like to think that maybe all of these variants, as big as the TVA is from what we were shown in episode 1, it looks like it spreads for miles. I like to say, or to think, or I guess I like to believe that all those variants, because they are all variants, are people not just from Earth, but maybe from different planets as well.
Yeah,
and
I mean, the
maybe
ones that you see are
they're all human.
the ones that you
They look
see
like
are
humanoids.
humans.
Yeah.
At least the ones that work for the TVA. I don't know. Maybe that's just like a design of the thing. Is just
Maybe.
they're
They're
all
like-
human, and the rest of them just get pruned.
Yeah, maybe they're like the
Yeah,
freaking
could be.
Galactic Empire. Maybe they're like Darth Sidious.
Oh
He didn't
yeah, they
like
only had
any
like humans
aliens.
except for like
He was
like,
racist
for,
against
like-
aliens. Yeah.
yeah, I do remember that. That was crazy.
I think Tristan, you told me that. So, like Scott said
Uh-oh.
earlier, when they were up there having a drink to celebrate, Mobius did steal her Time DS, switched them, and he saw the status of Hunter C20, and that she was officially deceased, but that there was actually video footage, not of her being pruned, but of like an interview, and it was her talking about how she had these memories, that Ravonna had said that her mind was going crazy, and what actually was being said by C20 was that she was having memories of down there, and about her life before, and then Ravonna was like, I'm cutting the interview, and she looked right into the thing, and that was
Right
all the
into
proof
frame.
that was all the proof that Mobius needed, and he realized that Loki's telling the truth. So then Loki goes,
And they probably did like actually prune. I think what C20.
they probably
did prune her after that, but
yeah, that's a shame. It really is. It's scary. So then, Mobius comes in and sees Loki, and he's like, "You're right. I'm gonna need help with this." And then he's like, "How about help from a friend?" Or I don't know exactly what they said, but
that whole
the word "friend" was thrown in there somewhere. And then they come out of the cell, and then what do you see? You see a whole firing squad of the TVA, and Ravonna's there, and she's like, "I think you have something of mine." Mobius is trying to play it cool, obviously, not trying to get caught. Very smart, and then he hands it over, and then she said something. He's starting to, he realizes, there's probably no way out of this, that maybe he's gonna
He
try.
realized that he was caught, so
Yeah,
he was like, "Well, we got one last."
yeah. He says about
One last attempt.
the question that she posed in her office of like, if you could go anywhere, anytime, where would it be? And he said something about he would go back to basically his past life, riding a jet ski or whatnot.
He said, I think he said, I
Yeah.
probably would have liked to have a jet ski. And I just remember from episode 1 when he had that jet ski magazine, and I was like, that would have been great. I would love to see a Mobius past life thing.
I wonder if like the things they like let's take a like one of the characters like BT-15. Let's say she really likes shot an item like a boat, or like kind of like movies and jet skis. I wonder if that's a link to their past that they have not forgotten, but subconsciously is in there. They just can't reach it. Like, why does Mobius like
Could be.
That's probably
skis so
true.
much?
That's probably true.
Is he like a pro jet ski racer? Was he modeling them? Was he selling them? So I'm
I
thinking
feel like
that there's
the whole jet ski thing has got to be like some kind of elaborate reference to another movie that Owen Wilson was in, but it's probably
Marvel
I don't
likes
know.
to do stuff like that, so I wouldn't put it past them. That's kind of funny to think about.
I just don't know because I don't really know many movies that Owen Wilson's been in.
There was a great movie called The Wedding Crashers. You should watch it.
There's also another great movie that he was in called Cars.
Oh, God,
We know,
hey,
Tristan.
man, they made 3 of them. Technically, he dies on the 3rd one, but there was that.
Oh, see?
No, that was a joke.
Oh.
No, if you see
He
from the
just died in
trailer,
this.
you watch it from the trailer. He goes flying, and it looks like he was in a wreck. That's just the joke.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
yeah, he
there was
definitely died.
another
Like,
movie
he's
called-
dead, Sorry.
No, you're good. There was another movie called The Internship, I think, when they go to Google, it's him and the same guy that actually played in Wedding Crashers. They're like good friends in real life, and they're in a lot of movies together. Just like if you watch an Adam Sandler movie, a bunch of his friends will always be. You'll see the same people in like a lot of his movies because he's really good friends with them. But yeah, they go to like Google and they like interview Google, and they actually get a job at Google. So it's actually a pretty good movie. I haven't seen too many of his movies, but those are pretty much the only ones I've seen so far. But anyways, then they prune Mobius. And I know we all felt like hatred from this point on towards damn it, what the hell is wrong with me? I can't remember her name.
I put it in general, Jordan.
Ravona.
Ravona.
Yeah, we really, because like that was sad. Because they were like best friends too, and like she just couldn't accept it.
Well, you could see it on her face that she was like, I just fucked up. You know, she's like, why did you have to learn the truth? She's like, because she did say she was one to really protect him from all of this, and you could tell it was kind of sincere. It's just really sad. I never would have thought that they would have killed him off.
Yeah, and so we're like,
and he might not be.
He might not be, but we're gonna save that for later.
We'll save that.
Save that for later. So then,
Mood.
you know, they capture, or they bring out Loki, and you can just see the pure hatred on his face after they pruned Mobius. And I know we were all joking, like, just like he's gonna do what he said in episode 1, that he's just gonna burn this entire place to the ground. And I'm like, I hope he kind of does.
Probably is.
I hope he does, honestly.
I hope he does at this point. It's insane.
And then they're walking along, Sylvie's there, they go up to the elevator, and then we finally see, face to face, the Timekeepers.
Dude, we see them face to face. I never thought that we would see them this far along. I thought it would be like the last episode.
Well, I mean, you gotta set it up somehow.
That's true.
And we only have 2 more, so.
That's true. Very upsetting. But this whole, that whole room that they're in looks really weird. I could have sworn, you know, what's that one painting where you see all these different like doors and stairs going in different directions? You know what painting I'm talking about?
I do.
I know the one.
I could have sworn that whole room kind of looked like that almost. Cause
I know the painting you're talking about, that illusion painting, yeah.
Yeah, it showed different angles of the room that they're in, and it kind of looks just like that. Like, you could get little snippets of, like, different scenes from inside the room, and it looks like they're, like, you see some doors going in different directions or ladders going in different directions, not where they're supposed to. It's really ominous. It really is weird. Of course that could it's really
send this in chat.
Do.
But then we get this really cool fight scene between the guards, Loki and Sylvie, and Ravona, remembered her name this time, and who did we have to come save the day? We had what was
B-15.
B-15. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of with B-15 now. Of course, I wasn't in like episode 1 and 2 because she was kind of a dick, but then again, she was just doing her job, I guess you could say. You know, so you know, now we're all kind of like with B-15. So here they are.
Yeah, well, she figured it out, and now she's...
She was a smart one. She was one of the smart ones. So, you know, I love the moment that Sylvie literally just pierces one of the guards straight through the back, through the gut, out the back, with those spears. That also...
Which I didn't realize that those things were just straight, like, spears on the other end.
Well... Neither did I, but at the same time, I felt like, I don't know, they had to have something more than just a pruner. You know, whether it be like
That's true.
Or something, but the fucking spear, that is a little bit, like, out of control. So, the best part, and I have a theory to go along with this, after this, the best part is when they're talking to Sylvie, after they've beaten all of the guards in Ravona. And I don't remember exactly what they say. They're like, you are a child of the Timekeepers too, Sylvie. And I don't know what they meant by that, but I feel like they're gonna touch more up on that. Sylvie takes her like long, like machete-looking knife.
Yes, that was like machete.
She throws it, and it literally chops the head off of the middle Timekeeper. And I as soon as I saw it, it was the sparks, like as the head was rolling down the stairs. I was like, I instantly knew. I had a theory about this towards the beginning that Timekeepers weren't real. Maybe that they weren't androids, but I knew that somehow they weren't real. That maybe they were
Nelly all along.
Maybe they were somewhere else, but maybe they weren't just real after all. And my theory ended up leading up to, and it's kind of confirmed it. I think it's really the Timekeepers aren't real. It's really just Kang the Conqueror. I think it's wholeheartedly Kang the Conqueror. They did say they did, you see the other robots, the other androids, the other two Timekeepers alive, and they shut down like puppets at a Chuck E. Cheese. And weird reference, I know. And then you see them holding up the head. It's literally an animatronic. And then the craziest thing happens. Loki's trying to make sense of it all, and he's like, "We're gonna get through this together." He's like getting all choked up. I thought they were about to kiss. Not gonna lie. And then the worst thing possible happens. He gets pruned by Ravona. And I'm a little pissed at this point. I'm like, why would you kill off two main characters? So then that happens.
The show is literally called Loki.
I know. It's so weird.
And I was like, oh well, I guess it's like about Sylvie now because technically she is Loki.
That's true. It could have gone down that path, and I probably would have been okay with that. But I really don't want to see Loki die like a fourth or fifth time. So then Sylvie beats the living hell out of Ravona, and she's like, you're gonna tell me everything that you know. So now we're left on a cliffhanger again for next week's episode. 2 more episodes after this.
Yep.
So I'd have to say my favorite part of this whole show is literally the end credit scene. I think this is the only episode so far that we've had an end credit scene on this show.
It is.
So
yeah.
Loki wakes up, and if you have subtitles on, it's really cool. Hell is not spelled like H-E-L-L. Hell.
Yeah, it's H-E-L.
Yeah, for Norse mythology, it's H-E-L. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Interesting.
So he's like, is this hell? And then the one guy's like, no.
Not dead yet.
Not dead yet. Yeah, so he's like, you're not dead yet. I think he said, like, if you come with me or something. Yeah, he said, not yet.
Yeah. And he's looking up and he sees 3 versions of himself. So on the far right, we see a guy wearing the classic Loki suit played by Richard E. Grant. We see a young Loki in the middle holding an alligator. And then we see a left Loki who is bigger. He looks more like a blacksmith, kind of like mixed with like a traditional Viking warrior, holding what looks like Mjolnir, but like covered with like.
It's a different version of Mjolnir.
It definitly is.
Also,
yeah, because you have like a very different handle. It's just very different.
It is very different.
From Mjolnir.
He made it. Almost looks like he made it himself. Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Also,
but I'd like to add,
yeah,
as Scott said 3, but really the alligator is also
4.
Loki
Yeah,
for some
4.
reason.
I want to point that out. There's a version. There's a comic book series where Thor and multiple versions of Thor congregate. Like Beta Ray Bill is considered a version of Thor, which we're supposed to see him in Thor: Love and Thunder. There's even a frog Thor. Yeah, he's as tiny as can be. So I'm thinking that this frog Thor. I haven't seen the animal version of Loki, I think it's the alligator. I think they're in the
makes
same
sense.
universe. It's the only thing that makes sense. I can't tell you enough that I literally fangirled when I saw the comic book accurate costume on the far right Loki. Old man Loki, I guess if that's what you want to call him. I don't know
Probably.
any of their real names because I don't know. I knew all of them except for the one on the left.
So the one on the
Yes,
left
Scott, you said that was what?
Boastful
Go ahead.
Loki.
Boastful Loki.
The one with like the maid that looks like he's like made his own Mjolnir.
Yeah,
He looks very different.
he's very cool.
Because he is. I like it a lot.
Chris, I want to point out what you said. I actually am saying it now. You pointed out that on the far right, past Old Man Loki,
Yes.
there was Avengers Tower, and it's actually true.
I figured. I mean, that looked exactly like. I guess if you want to call it Avengers Tower, if you want to call it Stark Tower, whatever. Yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw that
corner.
big helipad, I mean, I knew that was what it was. So it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
really
assuming
cool.
then that this is like the setting there. At least is like a ruined New York City.
Potentially.
Possibly, maybe after Loki won with the Chitauri army.
Yeah. That's what we were.
Possibly
Yeah.
somehow linked to that.
I had a theory that it was like, Loki won and the Chitauri or Thanos or whomever, did not hold their end of the bargain. It was just like, yeah, we're just gonna destroy this place. Or it's another reality where the stones were destroyed and it was like, oh well, Thanos can't, use the stones to easily get his goal, so he'll just do it manually, and that was part of the result.
True.
So.
Yeah, this
Interesting.
episode was very.
But
nice.
wasn't that pretty much like what he was doing before the
Yeah.
stones anyway? Was just manually doing the whole half thing.
Potentially,
Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. So that's why I feel like.
Oh, sorry,
Huh?
I already said that. No, I was thinking like, wonder if this is the world like the Avengers, like instead of like fighting and getting together, like they didn't fight and they all try to beat him like solo, and then like that's how he defeated them all.
That's a good theory.
Possibly,
I
yeah.
guess we'll learn about it next episode. I can't wait. What was everyone's favorite part so far?
I love the part. Excuse me, I'm yawning a lot. I love the part where
Go
we
ahead.
figure out the timekeepers aren't real. I thought that was
yeah.
a great scene. It really choked me up, and like
As-
the whole.
As far as like figuring out timekeepers aren't real, as far as like the one getting beheaded, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was cool. And like, and just like, huh? Like
And I
everything I
was
know is a
like-
lie.
Yeah, I was like, that was a little too fast.
Movie's just like, my life is a lie.
Yeah, we skipped a few chapters there when it just, yeah.
Yeah.
I admit this was a bit of a slow episode.
I think it was a great episode.
I-
We
Definitely was.
learned
I can
so much,
say-
saw so much.
If I can say what like my favorite scene
Yeah,
was,
go ahead.
I would say the one where, at least the scene where Mobius finally realizes that Loki was right about, the whole, all of them being variants thing, and coming out of the room, that when they leave the room, that whole scene,
Oh yeah,
that was very good.
that was good. That was very sad, but very good. Tristan, what about you? Oh, he doesn't have one. We'll tell you next episode.
He doesn't have one. Skip over him.
Come back.
No,
for part
no,
two.
I really did like Sylvie. Well, when B-15 was like, yeah, we're gonna talk, and it's just,
That whole
found
talk
out
scene
about
kinda-
everything. Yeah, and then
Kind of turn of
once
character.
yeah, that's her. Yeah, it was a weird turn of character, but at the same time, she was curious and all that. So when she actually like got that hallucination or whatever, she was
She
like,
didn't
"Oh,
just
so
like
happy."
she didn't just like shrug it off. She actually like thought about it
Yeah.
and went with it. Yeah.
All right. Well, this was a good episode. What did everyone rate it? If we want to do that.
I'd give this one a 7.
7.
I'd give it a 7. I think,
I'd give it a 9.
I'd give it an
I'd
eight.
Right for
I'd go with
me.
9.
Scott, get out.
Yeah. Just yeah, no, unacceptable.
I'm sorry, it just dragged for me in a few places, but it really picked up in the end.
Yeah, I feel like though what you said about it dragging though was just kind of it setting up, leading to that finale.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody. This is a good episode. Thank you for listening in on our episode 4 review for Loki. This has been Jordan, your host on Chaotic Corp. Sometimes we stream on Twitch. You can follow me at twitch.tv/hotpocket61. You can follow Tristan at Twitch and on the YouTube channel. On Twitch, it's twitch.tv/ApolloYourKing. Scott, did you have anything to throw in there?
You can find me here at Chaotic Corp YouTube channel, at my Instagram, s.simpson21. And that's basically it.
Chris?
I don't really have anything to add.
You can find Chris here.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
here.
you can find Chris
You can
here.
find me here too on YouTube.
Alright,
these-
guys. Thanks
All
for
right.
listening.
Thank you for listening.